Welcome to the channel Too Irrational. I'm Pranay Sharma, and in this video we are going to discuss important questions from past papers of 2019 to 2023 CM1 paper A conducted by IFoA Institute. This is the second part of a two-part video. So the link is in the description for the first part. Do check that out too. Let's get started. Now, April 2022, this question number 5 was completely a different type of a question. It was not difficult, but I had never seen such a question. This is, you might say, you had force of mortality, force of withdrawal, force of transfer. So this is a multi-decrement style question, but they also had proportion of students who qualified. So you should definitely go through this question. It was a different style of question where each year you will have to solve step by step. So here you can see probability of qualifying in the first year. So using the multiple decrements, that is force of mortality, force of withdrawal and force of transfer, I have calculated the APX for the first year, and then out of that 3% of them would qualify and we will not have to consider them again. So probability of unqualified student moving to the second year. So out of this APX, only 97% will be unqualified and move to the second year. Similarly, then in second year, I have to take into consideration how many would qualify. And again, probability of unqualified student moving to the third year, I have to take into consideration first year how many were unqualified, then 12% qualified in the second year, so unqualified would be 88%, and then how many of them still remained in this whatever college or whatever we are talking about, and then probability of qualifying in the third year would work exactly the same way, and then solve the total probability, number of qualified people in the first year, then number of people that went to the second year and then qualified, number of people went to the third year and then qualified. That gives me the total probability of people qualifying. So it was a different type of a question, but not a difficult question. Let's see another question. So April 2022, question number 10. This is a typical profit testing style question where we had 3 years without profit endowment assurance. But the question already had tables given to you and there were some values missing. You can see A, B, C, D. Here we have E, F, G, H. These were the values that you had to solve and write the answers to. So you could have solved this in Excel. Rather, what I suggest is make this table as it is in the Excel and solve it in Excel. Then here you will have to show all workings. So you cannot just copy and paste the Excel file or Excel table and say I have solved it in Excel. No, we have to show all workings. So you'll have to write the formulas here. So what is surrender AQX? You have to write the formula and then write the value. But at least you don't have to calculate each and every value in the calculator and then remember, because we'll use a particular value more than once. This surrender value we are finding here in A, but it will be required for B, and later on surrender value will be required somewhere else as well. So any value will be required more than once throughout to find the other values. So I made this sure that I have written everything in Excel, solved it in Excel, and then here I have shown each of the formulas. I just don't have to calculate them. It's important. You can use Excel for calculation purposes. Now for the next question, we have September 2022, question number 10. Now this is again a very straightforward question, not very difficult. You have to find the gross premium reserve for a policy using prospective method, and it is very straightforward, a simple equation, and you get the reserve. Then you have the calculate showing all working, the total profit earned from this portfolio. Again, a simple equation, and then you get your answer. You have to just make sure where each of these cash flows were and accordingly make this total profit equation. Now for a single line you are getting 8 marks here. I just wanted to point out that it does not matter how much marks are given. You don't have to write a lot. It's the complication of the question that matters. This equation is difficult to make. You might miss a small thing and they will cut your marks for it. So it's the complexity of the question that is for 8 marks, not the length of the answer. Now you will see again for comment we have 3 marks here. As I was pointing out before, that the comments are very important. Understanding of each topic is very important. So when you're reading comment in the solutions of a question, make sure you understand why it was relevant for that question. Let's see the next question. So April 2023, question number 3. It was a simple question. We had to calculate A 82.25 payable 4 times. It's always better whenever in confusion, try to make the timeline. $82.25, that's the current age. First payment is going to be from 82.5 and the payment would be 1/4 because the payments are in arrears. So here what I have done is I have calculated A82 payable 4 times. That will have one extra payment, that would be here. First of all, calculating this is very straightforward. We'll have A due X minus M plus 1/2M. It's the formula. And I just have to remove this first payment, that is this one, and the rest is going to be this. To calculate this 0.25 P82, you can use UDD or CFM, mainly because they have not mentioned in the question, so you can use any one of them, and you can see they give me nearly the same answer and both will be accepted. Now most of the students and also the institute have given a different answer. What they have done is they have said we know A due 83, using that we can calculate A due 83 payable 4 times. That would be this point and later. We will add these two payment to get the value of, so we are finally calculating at this point. So the first payment would be discounted for 1/4 year, the second payment would be discounted for half a year, and this payment will be discounted for 0.75 year, and accordingly you have to also multiply the probabilities. So this, and this, and all of these three probabilities would have to be calculated either using UDD or using CFM, any one of them. So this was a rare type of a question, but a lot of students were able to solve it properly. A few students missed that the payments would be 1/4, and a few students missed the proper probabilities. So you should properly go through these kind of questions. Let's see the next question. In April 2023, question number 5, they gave you an equation and they asked you just to describe in words the timing and the amount of the benefit, expenses, and the premium of the policy. So basically they gave you the answer and asked you to write the question for it. So you had to write the benefits, expenses, as well as the premium, when and how. So again, the understanding of the topic is going to be very important. Next, another question in April 2023, that was question number 10, was a typical mortality profit question. So for a mortality profit question, they may ask you to calculate the premium. Then you will have to calculate the reserves and certain number of people and certain number of deaths for a particular year would be given. So it's a typical question, but there was a very small twist. You can see here they had given a survival benefit of 20,000 payable on survival to each of the 10th and the 15th year of the policy anniversary. So this mortality profit year was the 10th year. So we had to take into account the survival benefit when we are writing the DSAR. So for writing the DSAR equation, the equation is sum assured minus the T plus 1 reserve, or you can say reserve kept at the end of the year, plus R. People just assume that R is annuity given at the end of the year. No, it is the survival benefit. If a person survives, then if annuity was supposed to be given, so R might be that annuity as well, but also an survival benefit. If it is supposed to be given at the end of that year, that has to be included there. Other than that, the question was very straightforward. It's just this contained a large amount of marks. Out of that 10 marks, most likely 5 marks would have been deducted because of that small mistake. Let's see another question. September 2023, question number 9. So this was a zeroization question. So they had given you the profit vector, and accordingly you had to calculate the net present value first without zeroizing, and then zeroize the cash flows, then recalculate the net present value. Now I solved this question completely in Excel. You can see this table were copy pasted from Excel, but relevant formulas are to be written. So here I had written the formula of profit signature and net present value. Similarly, here you can see that zeroization, I had solved it here itself, writing all the formulas. So writing formulas will be important for questions, especially if you are copy pasting something from Excel. So these were some details and some questions that I wanted you to revise before your examination. Best of luck for the examination. I'll see you in the next one.